Bernie Madoff stole $65 billion. For decades, he ran the largest and most devastating Ponzi scheme in history, a sprawling empire of deceit built on a foundation of lies. He was a titan of Wall Street, the former chairman of the Nasdaq Stock Exchange, a name whispered with reverence in the most exclusive country clubs and boardrooms. His returns were legendary, a steady, unwavering climb that defied market logic, and everyone wanted in. He promised stability in a volatile world, a safe harbor for the life savings of retirees, charities, and even seasoned investors. But it was all an illusion. When the 2008 financial crisis hit, the house of cards collapsed with breathtaking speed. The requests for withdrawals became a flood, and the money simply wasn't there. It never was. In a single moment, fortunes built over generations were wiped out. People lost everything. Their homes, their retirements, their children's future is gone. The human cost was immeasurable, a ripple effect of despair that spread across the globe. At least 2 victims, unable to face a future of destitution, took their own lives. In the ultimate tragic irony, the architect of all this ruin destroyed his own family from within. His own son, Mark, unable to escape the shadow of his father's crimes, hanged himself on the 2nd anniversary of the fraud's exposure. Bernie Madoff died in prison, but the ghost of his fraud still haunts the lives he shattered. Enron was America's 7th largest company, a behemoth of the energy sector that was lauded as the pinnacle of modern innovation. Its stock price soared, its executives were celebrated as visionaries, and its annual reports painted a picture of staggering, unstoppable growth. It was all a lie. Behind the gleaming Houston skyscraper and the confident pronouncements was a tangled web of off-the-books accounting, shell corporations, and manipulated earnings. Enron wasn't just hiding debt, it was fabricating an entire reality of success. Executives like Ken Lay and Jeffrey Skilling knew the truth. They understood the company was a hollow shell poised for an epic collapse. While they publicly championed the company's bright future, urging their own employees to keep buying more stock for their 401ks, they were secretly and frantically selling their own shares. They cashed out hundreds of millions of dollars, securing their own fortunes while knowingly leading their workforce to the slaughter. When the truth finally erupted, the fallout was apocalyptic. 20,000 people lost their jobs, their careers vanishing overnight. Their retirement accounts, stuffed with now worthless Enron stock, were annihilated. In total, $74 billion in shareholder value vanished into thin air, a testament to a corporate culture so rotten it poisoned everything it touched. The company that was once the symbol of the new economy became the poster child for corporate greed and corruption on an almost unimaginable scale. Elizabeth Holmes promised a revolution. With her signature black turtleneck and a voice unnaturally deep, she captivated Silicon Valley, promising to disrupt the entire healthcare industry. Her company, Theranos, was going to change the world. She claimed to have invented a machine, the Edison, that could run hundreds of complex blood tests from a single tiny drop of blood pricked from a fingertip. It was a miracle of modern medicine, a promise of accessible, painless diagnostics for everyone. Investors, politicians, and media alike were enthralled. She was hailed as the next Steve Jobs, a visionary genius. She raised over $700 million from a roster of high-profile backers, valuing her company at a staggering $9 billion. There was just one problem: the technology never worked. The Edison machine was a fantasy, a prop in a grand, elaborate stage play. Behind the scenes, Theranos was secretly running its tests on competitors' machines, faking demonstrations and producing dangerously inaccurate results for real patients. The entire enterprise was built on a foundation of deception. When the whistle was finally blown, the fairy tale shattered. The company that promised to save lives had, in fact, endangered them. The visionary CEO was exposed as a fraud. Elizabeth Holmes is now serving an 11-year sentence in federal prison. A stark reminder that even the most compelling stories can be built on the most audacious lies. Ruja Ignatova, the self-proclaimed crypto queen, burst onto the scene with a promise of a new financial world order. She was charismatic, dazzling, and utterly convincing. Her creation, OneCoin, was marketed not just as a cryptocurrency, but as a movement. A Bitcoin killer that would make early investors fabulously wealthy. She hosted lavish events in packed arenas from London to Dubai, selling a dream of empowerment and financial freedom to millions around the globe. People poured their life savings into her vision, convinced they were getting in on the ground floor of the next big thing. But OneCoin had no real technology behind it. It wasn't a true cryptocurrency with a decentralized blockchain. It was a centrally controlled pyramid scheme disguised in the complex jargon of the digital age. New investors' money was simply used to pay off the old ones, while Ruja and her inner circle siphoned off billions. In total, she stole an estimated $4 billion from people in virtually every country on Earth. Then, just as law enforcement began to close in, she vanished. In October 2017, she boarded a flight from Sofia, Bulgaria to Athens, Greece, and was never seen again. The crypto queen had become a ghost. Today, the FBI has her on its 10 most wanted list, one of the most sought-after fugitives on the planet. But Ruja Ignatova has never been found. A phantom who orchestrated one of history's biggest scams and then simply disappeared. Stanford was a master of illusion. From his headquarters in the Caribbean island nation of Antigua, the flamboyant Texan billionaire built a global financial empire. He sold high-yield certificates of deposit, or CDs, through his offshore bank, Stanford International Bank. He promised returns that were not just good. They were impossibly good, safe, secure, and consistently double the market rate. To create an aura of legitimacy, he bought a knighthood in Antigua, sponsored professional cricket and golf tournaments, and plastered his name on stadiums and arenas. He exuded wealth and stability. It was a carefully constructed facade to conceal a massive 2-decade-long Ponzi scheme. The CDs were worthless. The money from new investors was used to pay the interest, to earlier ones, and to fund Stanford's obscenely lavish lifestyle of private jets, yachts, and personal cricket teams. When the scheme finally imploded in 2009, $7 billion was gone. The money wasn't lost in bad investments. It had been systematically looted. Thousands of investors, many of them retirees who had trusted Stanford with their entire life savings, were left with nothing. The fallout was a trail of financial and emotional devastation. Stanford will die in prison, sentenced to 110 years for his crimes. But the money is gone forever, vaporized by one man's colossal greed. Right now, somewhere in the world, the next great scam is underway. It might be unfolding in a gleaming corporate tower, presented with sophisticated charts and confident projections. It could be spreading through a viral social media post, promising impossible returns on a new digital asset. It may be whispered over a quiet dinner, a secret tip from a trusted friend. The players will be different, the methods updated for a new era, but the fundamental blueprint of deceit remains the same. It preys on hope, exploits trust, and is fueled by the timeless allure of getting rich quick. The only question is, when will we find out?